Welcome back. So today I will talk about how white-collar professionals from back home, such as doctors, lawyers, engineers, accountants, pharmacists, etc., all of the professional designations we are familiar with, how can professionals come to Canada and maintain the job position that they had before. And also we're going to understand if you can calculate whether you will not be able to maintain, and in that case what we can do to make sure you are close enough to a close enough profession. So let's get started. Number one, the first step you have to do while you are in Bangladesh or India or your local country is you have to get your degrees validated by, there are many authorities who do that. If you type in Google validate degree for international recognition, there's a small fee associated with it. What they do is they audit your degree and they make sure that your MBBS or your Bachelor of BTech, your LLB, your B Pharmacy, whatever it be, your degree is validated and recognized in the list of countries that they audited it to be valid for. So that's the first step, because then you know if your degrees are recognized in Canada. So smile and say, well, we're gonna get that done. Step two. Now it gets a bit harder, because now that your degree is validated and you know that when you come to Canada you will not to redo the education, the training you have done, the issue you will face is Canadian experience. Many Canadian employers always seek for Canadian experience. This is a bit ironic because, well, you're a new immigrant, you're just coming from your local country, be it from Bangladesh, from India, from Saudi Arabia, from China, whatever, and how can you have Canadian experience? So this is where we have an irony. So this is the best solution to solve this problem. Contact the company that you want to work for. Is it a pharmaceutical? Is it an accounting firm? Is it KPMG? You know best. What law firm is it? Contact them, email them, just give them a phone call. It takes 2 minutes. Pause this video right now, type in Google the law firm or the accounting firm or the engineering company or the clinic you want to work for, whatever white collar professional company you want to work for, which matches up closest to what you are doing right now in Bangladesh, in India, in your home country. Do that right now. Pause this video and do it. It takes few hours to do it. It's worthwhile. You understood, you now know? Okay. Send them an email. Okay. A small email is good enough. Make sure you send them an email. I'm interested. These are my degrees already validated by the international authorities. Can I join? And if they say, well, we are not accepting, we are full, even if you come in Canada under work permit, we'll not be able to give you the position. Well, ask to be referred to someone else that they know. Because what will happen in this spiderly search process is you are going to connect with employers in that field, and you'll get a clear understanding of the demand for your job title in that field. The demand is three things, right? The location, the city, right? Or where is it exactly in Canada that you want to settle down in? And you can get a very good understanding this way if the city you're considering to settle down in, say Toronto you want to settle down in, is it saturated? Is it already full? Does it need any more job positions? Is it accepting, newly trained professionals or even well-seasoned professionals from back home? Oftentimes you'll realize that big cities like Toronto or any big city in Canada, you'll realize have niche areas. You might be an accountant, but you might find there's a huge demand for, say, certified financial analysts, right? So you'll find niche areas of high demand for professionals who are immigrants, and then you can now build your professional network in these niche areas. Remember, this is a full-time search process even before coming to Canada, because once you come to Canada permanently or under a work permit, then you will first of all maybe be homesick or have other responsibilities, because you have to get adjusted to the weather, you have to get adjusted to the language, get adjusted to the way of life. So you might not be fully efficient in searching for the ideal job. So that search process already has started. You have got the degrees validated. We are in step 2. You have to now research, talk, email, phone call. Every day put 2-3 hours. Again, because you are a white-collar professional, right? White-collar professionals are hardworking. They are meticulous, detail-oriented, so you cannot leave any stone unturned in this process. It is going to be a bit difficult, but you have to make sure you do it. Because those who don't, you have read about them in the news. Good professionals, just because they did not have the time to do the research, or because they had other circumstances that they could not prepare well in advance. Many people don't think about immigrating to Canada, right? Until some type of major incident happens. Some type of major issues you're facing at work, or some type of major midlife crisis you're facing back home. And then you're like, okay, I want to move to Canada, right? But the planning process, if you are able to start from today, if you can start early on, and it's not only about Canada, it's about if you want to immigrate to any other country, if you just think about it from a bit early time, you're able to get ahead so much ahead in the process, and you will thank yourself if you do it. If you need help, you can contact me. I have put my email address in the description, but you are yourself your best teacher. Do not fall behind. Start the research process now. So now, let's move to step 3. Step 3 involves the credentials that you have. So step 2, you have a good enough understanding which city, which company, and with whom you might, 80%, 70% chance, yes, who you might work with, right? Now, step 3 is going the extra mile. Taking some type of exam that is relevant to your field. It could be a type of fellowship in medicine, it could be a type of extra credential for your accounting, it could be any type of extra credential for your professional field. And this extra credential, what will it be in? You know it by now, because step 2 you have done. You have emailed the companies you want to work for, you have phone called and spoken to the people, you have found out the market, the job market in the cities, you have found out the niche, and I will talk more about the niche, quote unquote, the niche professional employments in what cities that exist as of now in Canada. You've done your homework, so now it's time that you take the credential exam. For accountants, it could be a type of risk analysis credential you might take, or it could be an actuarial credential you might take. These are international exams, and they're available through test centers in Bangladesh, in India, in other countries. If you take the exam, what will happen is when you come to Canada, you're going to have a very smooth transition, because number one, you know who was going to take you as their employee, right? And third, you already have an internationally recognized credential, and these credentials are all oftentimes postgraduate, right? You already have your degree, you already have your education, you have your work experience. Now, this postgraduate training matters so much, and unfortunately, many people are scared to study a little bit more when they are well seasoned in their life. But this postgraduate training will help you tremendously, and it opens up your career options vastly in Canada, in the US, in Australia, in New Zealand, in UK, wherever you want to immigrate to as a professional. Step 4. You've done your credential exam, you have received your credentials. Now what? Now, before you permanently move to Canada, or be it any country considers as a universal strategy, visit the country as a tourist. Visit before you decide to move in. What will it do is it will help you make sure that the workplace you have chosen to work at, that workplace is going to give you the career expectations that you are looking for. Because we want to now eliminate even the remotest chance that expectations are not going to hold good, right? I'll give you some solid examples, and these are from real life. I've seen myself. That's why I think these videos are so worthwhile making and worthwhile watching from your side. Is, I know somebody who is a very good pharmacist who was a managing director back in India, and when he has moved to Canada, he did step 1, yes, degree is validated. He did step 2, yes, he knew the niche market where he wanted to work in. It was a big pharmaceutical company in the Toronto area. Step 3, took the internationally recognized credential. But what happened is, when the person came and joined, something didn't work out. The weather was harsh and the lifestyle was different. The work environment, you don't get breaks. He didn't realize that. Small details that matter. But he sponsored his family in the process and got the ball rolling. And he's really doing job. It's good paying, but that satisfaction, that job satisfaction is not there. That's something we want to avoid. If you can come, just tour. You're not working, tour. Tour the places where you would like to work. People come, they tour the Niagara Falls, they tour the big mountains in British Columbia. They do so many tourism. Well, don't miss out the career tourism, right? Make sure you tour the places you're going to work at. Then it will for sure pave a path of success and not leave any room for missed expectations. Now, step 1 we have covered, get your degree validated. Step 2 we have covered, contact, email the places where you would like to work at that are relevant to your profession. Step 3, take the internationally recognized credential, if it exists. If it does not exist, then what will happen is be ready to take a bridging diploma program, perhaps 1 to 2 years. The long story short is you have to study. You have to study back home to take the internationally recognized credential, or if it's not there, then you have to come to Canada and you have to study 1 year or 2 years. There is no shortcut to this. I repeat, there is no shortcut to avoiding studying. You have to study, have to take the credential. Whether you can take it back in your home country, or you come to Canada and you take it here. There is no shortcut to that. There are some people who are lucky to bend the rules and have and go ahead in their career without having to. But that's because they have a lot of experiences. Perhaps they've worked in Dubai, they've worked in a company who also have branches in Canada. They were able to get strong references. Either that's the 5% or be the 95%. Study, get the credential, you'll be set. So we're now, and then we talked about step 4, which was you tour the country before you decide to settle in, or you decide to file your immigration papers for any country. Now we are at the last step, and the last step involves I'll make a video on the last step, because this last step is so important. I think that deserves a video of its own. So step 5, the last step in your career transition from back home. Stay tuned, I'll put it in the next video. Take care, bye-bye.